What is good? What is up? It's Jordan, or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another Texans film breakdown. Today we've got a bit of a different video. I'm going to be looking at some of the most creative and well-designed plays from last year, talking about what I liked about it and how we could possibly expand off of it for next season. Tim Kelly's got full reins of the offense, and I'm excited to see what he's got. It's been reported that he's taking input from all the guys on offense and inputting what they like to do and feel comfortable with into the scheme. There's a lot of good talk about Tim Kelly, that Deshaun loves him, he's a creative mind, and he's going to change the offense. And I really hope all of that is true and we see it on the field, because the potential of this offense is limitless. We've got so many weapons, a strong offensive line, and an MVP caliber quarterback. So with that said, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Also, we at Texans Unfiltered have an awesome website and podcast with tons of great Texans content for you guys. So I would really appreciate it if you could check out those links in the description below. Alright, now let's break down this film, because the film don't lie. Okay, so there's no better play to start it off with than this beauty of a play design against the Patriots. I remember seeing this live and just being completely shocked, like what the hell is going on? It was absolutely insane, and if we can ever get another variation of this again, it would be so crazy to see if we can actually pull this off. And so what happens here is we've got a motion over by DeAndre Carter, and this motion, it's all about misdirection on this play. On these trick plays, you know, you aren't able to run them very often. It's like a once or twice in a season type of thing. And this one, it was just at a perfect time, and it really kind of pissed off the Patriots, to be honest. Like, this really put them to sleep. Like, this is kind of like disrespectful, man, pulling out a trick play like this. But it was awesome to see. And so, like I said, you've got DeAndre Carter on the motion here, and then you've got a handoff to Duke. So boom, that's one, and that's two fakes already. And then you've got DeAndre Hopkins. And notice how DeAndre Hopkins, he's lined up in this tight split, very close to the left tackle. And he's rarely ever like this. They'll play him in the slot a little, but look at how his alignment is. It's just weird. It's like he's a tight end. And so we get him in motion as well, and he's the one who actually gets the handoff. And you'll see that Max Sharping, he's the one who's pulling on this play to get to the right side and try and give them an extra blocker. And so because of all this misdirection, the defense has to be very disciplined when trying to stop this play. And so as you can see here, there's even that last misdirection where the ball's gonna go to Watson, which is just crazy. He makes an awesome catch. And so let's break this down here. So this first motion is supposed to get the defense moving to the left to follow DeAndre Carter, because we have done this a lot. We've given it to a wide receiver like this, especially in the end zone. We love to do this. Just give it to them and have them run it in. But that's not the real play. Then we've also got the handoff to Duke. And so a lot of times maybe you might have a play action fake and Watson will roll out and maybe hit Hopkins in the flat. But this is an actual handoff. He gives Duke the ball here. You can see that Watson doesn't have the ball anymore. So the defense is thinking left. They're thinking left already from the DeAndre Carter fake. Then they're definitely thinking left because of this Duke Johnson handoff. And so he has the ball here, and you rarely ever see a second handoff. So then boom, he gives it to Hopkins running to the right, and the defense is fooled. This guy's fooled right here. He doesn't know what's going on. The other two linebackers up here, they kind of know what's going on, and the safety, they're kind of onto it. They're already onto Hopkins, and luckily Sharping makes this block because we leave this edge defender unblocked, but Sharping is pulling, and so that guy could have blown it up this entire play, but Sharping makes a good block there, and this kind of just extends the play. And at this point, Hopkins, he looks like he's kind of screwed, right? He's got that linebacker right there, right in his face, but the linebacker has a choice. He's got two offensive players to deal with, Hopkins and Watson, and he's got to make a choice. Who am I going to get? He decides to get Hopkins because he never thinks you're going to flip the ball to Watson. Watson is just as much as a weapon as Hopkins is. He's an athletic dude. He plucks this out of the air, brings it down, and dives for it. Ooh, look at that dive, just barely getting it in. So that's an awesome play here. And like I said, this is a trick play. There's not a whole lot. You're not going to run this play. Like, it's not going to be a big part of the offense. Obviously, it's not going to be a staple. It's not like they're going to take out their normal running plays to do this instead. You know what I mean? But there are things that we could build off of it. And a great example of that is in this next play that I'm going to break down. So this play will look pretty similar. You even got someone motioning over from the right to the left. Imagine that was like DeAndre Carter in the first time. But then they switched up. The motion stills back again. Fake a handoff to Hyde, and then actually give it to Hopkins underneath. And so what this is called wing T. and a lot of other teams have run this before. And that's where all these plays come from. It's not like they just drew this up on their own. They find it from other plays. That's the entire league. The NFL's a copycat league. But anyways, so they've even got Sharping here pulling yet again on this play. And so then boom, gets the handoff. He can follow his blocks. And the defense is in position. I don't know how he didn't score on this, man. He was so close. Would have been a great touchdown. But looking at this play, it's kind of a variation of the last play. The formation looks very similar. And again, it's two fakes for the handoffs. This misdirection. So boom, one fake to the right. And then you see Hyde here. He's going to the left. So the defense is originally thinking right. Then boom, they're thinking left. Even though Watson doesn't really fake a handoff, like you can still see that Hyde is possibly a threat. And so that slows down these guys. You can see here, if I pause it better, these guys are going towards Hyde, right? So that at least gets those guys out of the equation. And it's really about tricking these linebackers and trying to get them blocked. And then Stills can hopefully get one of these guys or draw one of these guys out here to try and guard him. And the blocking isn't amazing. Titus Howard kind of misses this block right here, which forces Sharping to pick him up. Because if you think about it, Titus should have had that guy, and then Sharping could have had this guy or this guy instead. But that leaves 44 Miles Jack unblocked, and then boom, he can make the tackle. But I really like this play design, and Hopkins honestly should have taken this to the outside. I think we had a speedier guy like Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb running this, or Will Fuller. They can take this lane to the outside. Because if you can see at this point, if Stills picks up that block, he can cut that outside, and that's good. And that's 6. But he cuts it upfield, he tries to get in there quickly, and it just doesn't work. But yeah, I really like this play. It's a good variation off of this formation that they've been running, more in the red zone. And plays like these, trick plays like these, are going to have to be more of a thing. Honestly, I think in the red zone, they're going to have to get pretty creative like this, because Hopkins was a big red zone threat for us. Everyone knows that. He would run a slant, and 9 times out of 10, it would work, you know? And without that threat, we're going to have to be more creative in our scheme to scheme people open and kind of trick the defense. And this is just a perfect example of how we can do that. So now this is actually one of my absolute favorite plays I've seen from the Texans, and it's a screenplay to Duke Johnson, which is something I've been screaming about for so long, ever since we got him. Get him more involved, especially in screens, because he eats on these. Literally, whenever they ran it to him last year, there was only one that wasn't successful. The rest were all successful, and Duke is just so good at getting extra yards. Now, what makes this screen really different is that they fake a first screen to DeAndre Hopkins. And that's something they've been doing a lot more, is especially to the left side of the field, they'll run a lot of screens to Hopkins, and it sets up a bunch of other plays, and I'll show you another one later. But look, the first thing is Kenny Stills, he's going to go out and fake block. And then you see DeAndre Hopkins going to the backfield, getting ready for the fake. He even pump fakes, and Hopkins jumps. And so that kind of stalls all these defenders. And you can even see this guy is looking there. You've only really got 2 defenders out here, but 2 tight ends out here to block those guys. And then this offensive lineman who can hopefully get out to block that guy. So it's occupied almost like half the defense there, like 5 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are over here, and then obviously that deep safety. So you've split the field, if that makes sense. You're trying to win this numbers game. You've got 3 guys out here to deal with 3 guys out there, and Duke would be free. So good design there to fool the defense, good misdirection. Duke sells it pretty well, sneaks out, and then Nick Martin, he misses his block. Luckily, these two tight ends blocking in space are really huge. They make great blocks. Look how far downfield these DBs get. And so Nick Martin just barely misses the block. He gets kind of enough of an angle on him to mess up the pursuit angle of the linebacker, so Duke Johnson can use his speed, outruns him there, and then boom. At this point, this is key, because right now, this wouldn't be a huge gain. This would be like a 3 or 4 yard gain at this point. And he's got linebacker Miles Jack one-on-one. But what is Duke Johnson going to do? He's going to stop, boom, see ya, juke, and get the first down. That's such an amazing effort out of Duke Johnson. It's such a good play design, like I said, and then the execution takes it to another level. Boom, gets away from the first guy. Oop, see ya. And then he's running, and he just barely doesn't get the marker right there. Actually, my apologies, he's a little short, but this is an amazing play out of Duke Johnson. And so here's a perfect example of how we can kind of build off of that play. So like I said, we've been running kind of more of these screens to the left, to the top of the screen here. And earlier in this Chiefs game, on the very first drive, one of the very first throws was a screen to DeAndre Hopkins. And so that's what helps set this up. The Chiefs are thinking that this is a screen all the way. This time they do it for Fuller. They fake it to Fuller and send Stills down on a vertical route, which he scores a massive touchdown. That was an amazing feeling, man. We like completely fooled the defense here. And so they see the screen forming, and look how aggressive the Chiefs defense is. First of all, they're crowding the line of scrimmage. Then they've got all these guys down here in the box. There's no one deep. If we look at it from this view, there's no one deep. 49 is the deepest defender. And what I really love that you can see from this view, you can see right here, this is perfect. He's pointing to the middle of the field. He's pointing, there's no one deep. There's no free safety. They're crowding the line of scrimmage. They're given a cover 0 look, which means that they're just blitzing everyone and everyone else is manned up. And so he's like, this could have, I don't know for sure, but this could have been an actual screen to Fuller. That could have been the original call. However, because he made that call, he pointed out that there was no free safety. They could have audibled to a fake screen here. So let's look at it again here. You're going to have DeAndre Hopkins and Stills blocking for Fuller. And then Stills, he's just going to run out here. Little subtle. He's going to act like he's blocking this outside corner and then boom, just take off. And look how aggressive the cornerbacks are. This is all how we set up this play. Like I said, we ran it earlier, a screen to that side out of the same formation. And then boom, 49 to safety. He's that last line of defense, but he's manned up with Fuller. So he aggressively goes to take away the screen. The cornerback gets fooled too because he thinks it's going to go to the flat in the screen. And then boom, he's gone. He's gone. You ain't catching Kenny Stills at that point. You ain't catching him. That's a beautiful play, something that we can build off of that last running back screen that we could. So say early in the game, we run just a normal screen like this to Fuller or Cooks or whoever. And then later we can fake the screen off of this, and then we can do like a double fake screen. So we can run a fake screen to Stills, and then we can also just have the running back, instead of Watson throwing it to Stills, we could have the running back leaking out to a screen to the right. So that's really going to mess with defense's head, and that's how we can really expand on this type of play. Now this is definitely one of the most interesting plays from last season. We are in pistol and it's called the full house formation. At least that's what they call it on Madden. Maybe it's wrong, but that's where I got that from. And so the full house formation, you got 2 tight ends in the backfield and then a running back. So this is a 3-back, 1 wide receiver look, and then you got another tight end here on the line. So this is just one of the most confusing and complex formations for a defense to deal with. Defense here, it looks like they're in cover 0. Everyone's in the box, and we'll see what it definitely is cover 0 because they don't have anyone here in the deep zone, and they're all just kind of manned up. This guy is going to take him, he's responsible for him, and so on. But it doesn't matter, and having them in man coverage is actually a very good man coverage beater, because in zone it could be a little bit easier to pass off, even though it could be confusing. But one man against man, when you're going to have this fake right here, it slows down the linebackers. So you can see that this linebacker, he has to read run. He has to respect the handoff to hide, and he also has to respect if Deshaun is going to take that. And so he gets drawn in. He doesn't do his job. He doesn't just stick on his man coverage on Fells like he should be. He should trust that this defender is going to go take away Watson, but he doesn't, and he stops. You can see that he's hesitating. Should I go take Watson or not? And then boom, that little split second of hesitation is all it takes for him to dump it off the Fells, and that's a touchdown. That's 6. The actual design of the play and the routes, we've got a wheel route here, and we've got a clear out route here, which is the crossing route for Kenny Stills to kind of drag that cornerback out of the play. He's just going to go over the middle and try and get him out and clear out that side. And so Akins, he's going to go deep too, so that's going to draw any potential defender with him, and then that kind of clears out as well for Fells. Fells is the main read on this play. The other 2 guys are kind of just like distractions, and it works perfectly. Building out this formation could be really key for next year. We've got so many tight ends on the roster, and we've got 2 versatile running backs who can work in the run game or the pass game really well. And so we've got so many options here to work with. This could be Akins and Fells and David Johnson in the backfield. It could be David Johnson, Duke Johnson, and Colin Gillespie. It could be David Johnson, Duke Johnson, and Jordan Akins. I would put a lot of speed on the field. That would honestly be my favorite way of running this formation. And then this guy in line tight end can be Darren Fells. There's just so many different options that we can run, and I'm really excited to see what we can come up with. Tim Kelly, the offense is his apparently, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Some other simple concepts that I'm just thinking about right now. We could just run a simple curl flat where Akins can run to the flat, Kenny Stills can run a curl, and then you could have Hyde on a wheel route, so that really would be a zone defense. There's just so many possibilities. Having these guys out of the backfield And then the last option you could do is just having Deshaun Watson run the ball. You know, that's always going to work. And these guys can work as blockers. These two tight ends. If you want to go in the heavy personnel, you can have these two tight ends. And then you can have Cullen Gillespie. And you could have 3 lead blockers. And that would just be ridiculous. Because Watson's already such a great running threat. If you got 3 lead blockers out for him, whew, good luck. Alright, so that's going to do it for the film breakdown today. We saw some of my favorite and most creative plays from last season, and I really hope Tim Kelly can build off of them. We've got so many weapons for defenses to worry about, I can't wait to see it all unfold. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Also, we at Texans Unfiltered have an awesome website and podcast with all this great Texans content for you guys. And I would really appreciate it if you could take some quick time to check out the links in the description. Alright, this was Jordan, or Texans Thoughts. Hope you enjoyed and come back for more. Take care, everyone.